frosty, freezy, cold morning. We're actually here in the Epcot parking lot doing something very new for us. We're here at a Run Disney race. No, we're not running. Not today. But we are spectating, and we're wanting to give you some fun tips and tricks about Run Disney, about spectating Run Disney. And I've got my good friend Amy, who's Amy Runs on Magic because she's the Run Disney pros. She's also here to help give us some tips.
Also not running, spectating, and giving them all the tips on spectating this weekend.
So it is approximately 4:10 in the morning. We've actually been here for about an hour. We arrived pretty much right at 3 o'clock, which we drove, which would you say that's probably a good time to be here? Or what would you say is like, if you're spectating?
It depends on what you want to do if you're spectating. And it also depends on the race distance. So for the 5K, we're only going to be able to spectate here at the start and finish line area. So in this area, like, you would come at the same time as the runners. When you get to longer distances like the marathon, then you can go to different locations, so it would change what time that you would arrive. But yes, it's a great idea. Show up with whoever you're going to cheer for. So if you're, cheering for a runner for the 5K, like, show up with them, whether you're on Disney property or driving in.
And for all races, whether you're spectating or running, you're coming to Epcot, correct?
That is correct, at least at this point in time, yes.
Yeah, so they basically have half of the parking lot dedicated for like parking, and then the whole other half, which is where we are now, is where all of the like start and finish line and the parties and all the fun, crazy hoopla is happening. To get into Epcot, it's exactly the same as if you were going for a normal park day. So we drove right through like the parking gates, just like if we were going to park like normal, and then we went through security just like as if we were entering Epcot on a normal park day. And then you'll see lots of signs and everything that kind of direct you over to, we're in the space lots if you're familiar with how Epcot's parking lot is. If you're coming from a Disney resort, the buses or the monorails are running this early?
Nope,
so
not
just buses.
Not today, just buses.
But they run for the longer races?
So on select weekends, they will run for the half marathon and the full marathon. So if you have a race weekend that has a half marathon or a full marathon, then they'll run on those days from the monorail resorts.
So my recommendation is, if you haven't done the races before and you are running, maybe talk to some of the cast members at your resort just to make sure that you know what time buses or whatever transportation options are running and what options are going to be open and available to you. And then you will, again, come to the parks just like normal, go through security just like normal, and then you will come over to this area.
Quick note, if you're staying on property, in your hotel lobby, in your resort's lobby, there will always be, during a Run Disney race weekend, a big sign in the lobby, and it's going to break it down for you each race distance, what bus stops are going to be open, what time the buses start running. I do recommend getting on the first bus just so that you can get here as quick as possible. Don't wait for the very last one. And then they also have buses that'll take you back to your resort as well. But check your resort lobby. That's where you'll be able to find all of your Run Disney race information.
And this is why I brought Amy, because she knows everything, and she's telling us how it all goes. How many races have you done?
I have no idea. I haven't counted.
How many years have you been doing races?
I started doing Run Disney in 2018.
Love it. So a quick little kind of tour, I guess, of this starting area. So when you come over here, you're going to have the information center. So if you have questions about anything, you can go there. There's a baby care center. So like if you're a mom and you need a nurse, or you need something, they do have that. They have a few food and beverage offerings. So they have like a coffee food truck situation, and then they have like food and beverage, probably just offering like super light little bits of things so that, nobody's passing out here. And then pretty much everything else that you would kind of need for race morning. There are tons of porta potties, so if you aren't a porta potty fan, too bad. That's your option. But they have scads and scads and scads of them. They do have what's called gear check, so if runners have like extra clothes or things that they need to check before the race, they'll give you like a bag that you can put your things in, and then they'll hold it for you, and then you can pick it up after the race. So that is also nice, especially on like a super, super chilly morning. Like it's like 30 or 40 degrees right now. It's so cold, and a lot of runners typically aren't wearing like coats and things while they're running, but you're gonna need it for beforehand. So that is nice that they offer that. And then of course for the fun, they have this kind of like party thing going on where they have like the hosts that are talking and getting everyone pumped up for the races. They have characters that you can meet and greet. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of just a fun, chaotic little morning. And so we're just hanging out, getting ready to go watch our friends do the race. Everybody's so excited!
All right, so spectating viewing seemed to be opening at 4:30 a.m. The nice thing too, I went to the restroom before we came over to the spectator viewing area, just because we weren't sure if there was going to be porta potties over here. But there are definitely not as many as like over in the starting area, but there are still porta potties over here if you need them.
It is 6:48, and we took a little break in the car because it's V cold, so I'm warmed back up a little bit. I can feel my toes again.
It is still approximately 40 degrees, so keep in mind if you are spectating during especially marathon weekend, which is usually early January, it can get very cold.
But we're heading back to the finish line so that we can go watch our friends finish the race. So I believe we are going to go through security again. And then the finish line is kind of over, it's kind of like back behind Guardians is where we're headed. So that'll be kind of fun to watch from there. And we have some fun flowers and gifts for our friends to surprise them with at the finish line. Wardrobe whiplash.
Also a haircut.
You're right, you did get a haircut. It is actually marathon day, so this is Sunday.
Yep.
Today's Sunday, right?
Yep.
I don't even know. This weekend's been kind of a blur. And we're spectating again. So this one's a little bit different than the 5K. So the 5K is super short and basically only runs through Epcot. So you really only can watch like the start and finish. But as you get some of the longer races, it's kind of fun because you can kind of spectate from a lot of different places. So the marathon obviously being like the longest, there's a lot of different places that you can go. You can go to Magic Kingdom, you can go to Epcot, you can go to the boardwalk, which is where we are right now.
Even the Contemporary, the Grand, like you can. Obviously, the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian are pretty early in the marathon.
Well, and those are going to be more like for people who are staying there.
Correct.
Those aren't going to be like super easy to get to. So I wouldn't say like, oh, let's go to the Grand. That's not. You would probably need to be staying.
Yeah, you
there.
need to be
But
staying
you
there.
can watch from there if you are. So again, just kind of how this morning went for us. We kind of came a little bit later because we were a little tired and we didn't want to get up at 3. So,
but that is the nice thing about the marathon is that because it is obviously 26.2 miles,
it goes goes till around noon.
It goes till around noon. So if you want to sleep in a little bit,
you
like
can,
like us,
if you're
you
watching.
have the option to, and still be able to watch a good chunk of the race.
Yeah, so we parked at Epcot just like we did for the 5K. We went through security just like we did for the 5K. And then you can, if you want to go watch from the finish line, you'll kind of go back over, kind of like, again, where we were for the 5K. It's all the same area. Or you can go into the park. So we walked in and they have everything marked off really, really nicely. So pretty much the runners, when they come into Epcot, they come in by the bathrooms in the UK pavilion. And then from there, they're running through World Showcase. And then they run down like that very center part between World Showcase and like where World Celebration is.
Yep.
And then they kind of run over by
Creations, Club Cool, and then they basically run straight and
Guardians, right?
Yeah, and they exit basically by Test Track, and then they go up to the finish line.
Yeah, so pretty much anywhere along there you can watch from inside Epcot. Now, do you know that you do have to have a park ticket if you want to watch from inside of Epcot, which did not open until 10 a.m. today. So
yes, so during a half marathon, I believe it happens all half marathons and marathons. Epcot will generally have a delayed opening. So make sure that if you are wanting to watch from Epcot, or if you just happen to have a park ticket for Epcot and a park reservation, if that's applicable to you, keep in mind that Epcot may be delayed opening. Now let's talk, if you are someone that is wanting to like get up early and watch the start of the marathon, transportation can, especially if you're obviously staying at a Disney resort, transportation can be a little tricky during especially those longer races because roads do close.
The biggest tip with those is to get on as early of a bus as you can. My friend Amy, she's over cheering right now, but she said that usually, like, if you are really wanting to do those early stuff, to try and get on some of the first buses that you can, just so that way you can get where you need to be as soon as possible. And honestly, that goes for if you're racing too, to try and get on that first bus if at all possible.
Because the marathon pretty much goes through, or at least by, all 4 parks. So one thing that a lot of people like to do is watch the start of the race in the Epcot parking lot. Then with full marathons and half marathons only, the monorail will be running to and from Magic Kingdom. So you can watch the start of the race, you can hop on the monorail, go and watch there, and then you can take the monorail back
and watch at the finish. If you are watching from Magic Kingdom, you don't have to have a park ticket for that. Obviously,
as long as it's before 7:30 a.m.
Yes, obviously, if you're coming later and you're like actually trying to do the park, they're not going to let you. But if that is something that you're wanting to do super early, that's kind of fun to be able to go watch on Main Street. We didn't end up doing it this time. Maybe another Run Disney weekend, we'll try and do that. But if you are wanting to do that, again, it's pretty easy. You just take that monorail, but the earlier that you can do it, the better.
So we have a little slide, we'll insert it here. So for the marathon, the monorail to Epcot starts at 2:30 a.m. So if you are staying at one of those resorts, you can take the monorail. However, an asterisk to that is that the monorail back to from Epcot to Magic Kingdom will start running at 4 a.m.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. If you're staying at a monorail resort, great, you can go ahead and do that earlier, but if not, you'll want to come to Epcot, either take the bus or whatever transportation options available to you, car, all of those fun things, and you're going to take that to Epcot. And then you're going to hop on the monorail and transfer at the Transportation and Ticket Center and then go to the Magic Kingdom. So there you go.
If you do have someone that is running one of these races, keep in mind that the reunion area is still in the Epcot parking, basically in the space lots, if you're familiar with that. So essentially where we started this video and where we showed you like all of the tents and everything,
that's
that
where
is where you are going. Correct.
time watching the races this weekend. This was something very new to us. We hadn't done it before, so we were kind of excited to take you along. Again, this is like a totally free thing that you can do if you happen to be visiting during Run Disney craziness. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those in the comments. And if you want to book your trip with Amy, she's the Run Disney expert. So especially if you're planning a trip during Run Disney and you're wanting to do the races, make sure you book with her because she'll give you all the tips and tricks. I'll have her information linked in the description as well. And that is all we have for you guys today. Now go create your ever after.